All right, potentially quick vid number 3 today. I don't have long now before I've got to zoom off to Mini-Me Sports. I won't have enough time to go into some of the inflator testing update as I had planned to, but we'll get to a bit of it. Prior to that, let's have, zoom through a couple of little other fun news things happening this week. Right, first up, finally, Ceramic Speed UFO have their UFO wax, as an immersive wax that you can purchase. So obviously for a very long time, Ceramic Speed have had a solid immersive wax. However, the only way to get that was to purchase a Ceramic Speed UFO chain. You couldn't buy the actual wax they use to make those chains separately to wax at home. You could buy the drip version or the drip wax version of that. However, obviously, typically the drip wax is going to have a lesser treatment lifespan than the immersive wax because a significant percentage of what you're applying is carrier, whereas an immersive wax is 100% lubricant. And also, drip application over multiple applications, you are not going to get the contamination reset of any contamination that has managed to get in that you do with immersively re-waxing your chain. So finally, having an immersive wax product is a very good thing from Ceramic Speed. I think this has been many, many years overdue. They were at the forefront. If you may not know or remember, but Friction Facts started by Jason Smith. From that, learned all about the awesomeness of paraffin wax and then playing with additives. Worked with John Thompson of Molten Speed Wax. From that, the first ultra-fast optimization blend of wax was created. M-Speed Wax took that blend to be the first or original M-Speed Wax, and Jason Smith started as a side business to Friction Facts, the ultra-fast optimization or the first wax race chains. Well, I think one of the first anyway. Sometime later, Ceramic Speed bought out ultra-fast optimization and Jason Smith, and he went to work for them. And over time, obviously, they've continued to iterate the wax and improve and improve and improve. They made the drip versions, but never released the ever-improving immersive wax version. And now here we are. I haven't had this for testing yet, so we're going to need to try to find a way to do that and get a spot on the machine. Main claims are sort of jumping out, so it seems like the focus on outright treatment longevity is sort of really on trend at the moment. I'm sure they're claiming it is super fast as well, or the fastest. But getting this to, see how it's going on the ultra endurance side, and that is marketed more towards that as opposed to the ultimate fastest wax side of things. So it's going to be, I'll get some more information about the specifics of the product from Ceramic Speed and hopefully get some product in. But quick update to begin with that it is out. It is about time. And be another great one to get on the league table when we can. Pricing looks overall not too bad. €56 is around at this stage 99 Australian dollars. That's for a 750 gram bag. That's pretty good value for 750 grams. Like it's, without getting my calculator out, it's maybe slightly more expensive than M-Speed Wax and Silka Hot Melt, but not by much. Cheaper than Rex Black Diamond. Definitely cheaper than the higher end Optimize Wax. Not sure offhand with Dynamic, with Wander and so on, but it's not a crazy price. The 40 or the smaller bag, the 400 gram bag, it's a little bit more of a premium to get that smaller bag. You're looking at getting 10 grams per euro in the smaller bag versus 13.3 grams per euro for the larger bag. So I would go the larger bag if it's back in stock. All right. While I'm here, what is that chain hanger? That is terrible. That is terrible. That looks like it's either been inspired by Reginald Scott or it inspired Reginald Scott. I can see how that can help you swish in a small pot, but you are going to need to remove that off that hanger to hang it, because if you let it set like that, you're going to have a lot of excess wax gluing all of your chain plates together, and then a lot of excess wax on the side of those chain plates to need to abrade off with the side of your cogs, that is just not good. What are they doing? Ceramic Speed. That's maybe I'm missing something, but that to me looks almost, if not just as bad as the one I really vilified from Reginald Scott. So Reginald Scott will be overjoyed to see this hanger by Ceramic Speed, and I am the opposite of that. What are they doing? Simplifies the waxing process and minimizes hassle. I will say absolutely a hanger design like that will do the opposite. That will maximize faff in removing the chain, unsticking it, and excess crap and hassle to break the chain in. Far out. All right. Oh, all right, let's recover from that shock of horror to something actually fairly groovy. Funnily enough, this came up as a question recently about, why don't you market a machine to help break in wax chains? I mean, most people are never going to need that. You just break it in the first part of your riding, or if you've got a race start, you do it as part of the warm-up. Or worst case scenario, you do a light ergo the day before or the morning of to break in your chain ready to race. So the wax treatment is in its optimal mint place. However, for pro teams, getting all the chains ready to rip from kilometre zero for the pro races, that can be a different story. And now with more teams being sponsored by some of the top wax brands, it's really interesting to see what some of them are doing around equipment to help the pro teams make that switch to immersive wax chains, because there's previously been some barriers for them going to that versus the simplicity of them just dripping some more stuff on. One of them that I saw recently that's really, I think, I loved it. I'd love one myself, but I can't justify one. But great to see what they're doing, and it's going to be very interesting to see what others may look to do as well. The likes of Silka that are sponsoring at least one team in the World Tour now as well. Let's see what Cyclowax have cooked up for, I believe they're sponsoring Little Trek.
Better than pie.
We're here picking up the chains for the Grand Tours that are coming this summer for the Tour de France and the Vuelta. I want to show you what we're doing to the chains of the Little Trek team. We received 300 chains of them, and after properly degreasing them, all the chains get waxed. Once they're waxed, they're stiff. And Peter, he's currently preparing all the chains to be broken in on that device. And we break the chains in because the mechanics love the chains to be very smooth. So it's easy for them to adjust the shifting of all the bikes. And then they're shipped back to Little Trek.
The best picture quality, but yeah, I mean, what a compact, beautiful way to break in 6 chains at once. Can't see sort of how much sits behind it. It doesn't look too thick behind. It's not like it's jutting out off the wall a long way. It looks like potentially the drive system and control is just sitting in that box there. So I mean, that looks just really neat. Love to see. Yeah, we'll really enjoy seeing what other manufacturers with other teams potentially bring out on the how best to break your chains in for your pro team approach. But that's a pretty good kickoff. All right, yeah, pretty much out of time, so I'll just rush through a mini update on the E-Inflator testing. So that is, continuing apace. I've got some more units in, so we're kicking off those. I'll hopefully get to show, some updated sort of the performance interactive graph on how the new units go against the others, as well as the first unit has died after 25 cycles. Many others are going on strong with a number more cycles on top of that. The oldest now are getting up to nearly 70 test cycles, so that's a pretty impressive lifespan, and no idea how long they're going to keep on going, but yeah, we are smashing through them. We'll have run over 200 test cycles so far. It's a bit easier to smash through these than lubricant testing, that's for sure. Continuing to work and update on the main data sheet. Just do a very quick look at that. So a bunch of updates to the main data sheet. Now this does look like a lot because there is a lot of columns, but don't worry, there will be soon. I'm just finishing some tinkering on what is actually going to be included in here and which categories actually have a score, which goes towards their total score. That has changed a bit since the last update. I'll hopefully get this latest one, which I'm getting happier and happier with it. So we're getting closer, I think, to what we're going to run with for the main performance assessment categories and the scores. But because there is a lot, I think most will hopefully be able to work their way across and understand each and help them decide if this unit is groovy, along with the accompanying information that explains each column, as well as just some general information around what we've learned already from the testing the units. But we'll be adding to this with to the data table that gets uploaded with some just other worksheets that have much more simple league tables built on just their outright performance. So their inflation time to 70 psi, their endurance score, so how many total grams of air can they push per battery charge, things like that. We'll just have some much simpler league tables on what are likely to be the main performance metrics, and then the full kit and caboodle breakdown of why a unit is ranked first or potentially very far from first, taking into account pretty much everything that is really relevant to assess on how these units perform. A bit further over, so we've got some commentary on just what we're discovering from the unit's use at the moment, which will go towards the review once they are dead, but you'll be able to sort of get a pre-peek at how things are going with using them from the comments there. As I get to update from the run sheets, their sort of number of test cycles and any performance degradation from those test cycles, and once they're actually dead, we'll go into a whole bunch of other fun stuff on the nerdy technical side. So once we dismantle them, we'll have a real good look at what's inside them, what's good, what's potentially not good, what can we repair if it's repairable, are there spare parts, and all that stuff. So bunch of fun, we're getting there. Each day is a blur, but each day I do chip away a little bit, and I will look forward to getting some, the actual sort of fun testing of the new units up soon, and then start to get into, as they die, the final reviews for each of the units as they die and where they ranked. It's going to be interesting also on the units to try to compare them versus some of the other media information, because there's a whole lot of bike media doing reviews of units. Let's have a quick chat on that. So a number of the media reviews of these I've seen both published and also on YouTube. Overall, they've been quite good, but I think one of the things that can be difficult for potential consumers of these is that different media are comparing different units, and sometimes their test protocols can vary slightly, and it can make it very difficult if you're trying to weigh up. If this publication has reviewed these 5, and out of that, this one was kind of groovy, and then another publication has reviewed a different 5, and that same one is kind of third in theirs, where it was first in this one, tested a bit differently, it can be quite difficult, and especially over time, because there's so many units out there as well, trying to find really a great comparison across all the top units, and again also more budget units, I think will become very difficult. It's always going to be a bit of a crapshoot what publication tests, how they test it, and their rankings, and then how you can put those together for yourself versus other publications and their testing with other units you might be interested in, I can foresee that it's in general going to be a big mess and not easy, even if you're trying to do some research on a particular unit, to really nail down, is that right up there, or is it actually maybe here, or is it actually maybe here? So what I'm hoping is that because this testing is obviously, again, it's very benchmarked, we've got a very sort of control protocol around its inflation rate and its total inflation endurance, and every performance metric that you can pretty much think of for an E-Inflator tested the same way and benchmarked and performance ranked. And then as we build up that league table, hopefully that is going to be of a lot of help to both consumers and also potentially cycling media doing that as well, where they might have a unit that comes out on top in their testing, but when they have a look at this table, if it's ranked 5th out of sort of 15 units tested, they might go, actually, I'd like to also have a look at some other units on this list before I'm potentially finish my article or do a final review. So that's going to be one of the aims for this testing, to be able to assist with both media and the cycling public. The other difference obviously is that we're not just testing them for performance and then that's the test and the article and the units go back. I'm running them until they die. So that aspect is going to be something unique that I don't believe any other media review of these will be factoring in, and not 100% sure what we're going to learn from that yet, and how that's going to translate into potential real-world useful knowledge, because I think how they're going to die in real-world use will be quite different to them being killed from actual just exceeding their service life from hammering them. In the real world, it is likely that they may die from moisture, from the battery getting too cold, from overheating them in a single use trying to resolve a sealant, sealing up a puncture with a valve restriction going on, and you just hammered it and killed it. So not sure, but it's going to be a fun journey of discovery. And obviously, I think there will be a strong link between units that last a lot of service life cycles and the overall quality, and how that may translate over to its reliability in the real world, versus units that die fairly quickly. So, yeah, it'll be fun, and it's going to be fun to see what they're made of inside once we've killed them. All right, so the first unit to die was the Cyc Plus AS2 from AliExpress, and I still can't yet determine if this is a knockoff imitation or a genuine Cyc Plus AS2. There'll be more on that soon. However, we can sort of see left inside after taking out the main part is the piston seal. So piston seals failing is likely to be, they're going to be obviously the most wear part in these units from a mechanical perspective. And whether or not piston seals can be obtained and user replaced, that's going to be very interesting. I think in general that is going to be very unusual, but Silka have said, and the piston seal kits, service kits, will be available for their units soon. They're the only brand I know of at this time that is going to be offering such. For every other unit, once the piston seal wears and you get performance degradation from that may make the unit a bit meh to use, or they simply come apart and really just obviously the unit doesn't work anymore, and that's the ball game. It's going to be rather interesting. All right, sorry, rushed through on all that, but there'll be some actual proper detail on this testing and a much more structured, better update with performance results for new units and the one that died. Coming up hopefully next week, if I can get a chance to do that properly. And all right, it's been a bit of a blitz day, 3 vids. Hope you've had fun. I don't know if you watch one or all of them, and I'll look forward to chatting with you on them when I can over the weekend, if I can. Otherwise, I'll smash it when I get back on deck on Monday. Okay, till then, have a great weekend.